Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to share you how to make a pie crust. This pie crust is not only crispy and flaky in texture, but it is also very easy to prepare. With very few tips and tricks, you should be able to prepare this at home easily. To start with the recipe, I'm using this cold refrigerated unsalted butter. As you see that I'm using this 1 bar of butter and I'm cutting these into smaller cubes. Make sure that the butter is chilled. From the other bar of butter, I'm using half of it. So approximately I'm using 4 ounce plus 2 ounce of butter. After cutting these into cubes, I'm going to refrigerate back until I use them. Into a large mixing bowl, take 1 cup and a half cup of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of sugar and half teaspoon of salt and mix these well. Now take out the butter from the refrigerator and add into the flour. Coat these butter cubes with the flour nicely. This step basically helps the butter to retain its temperature. This butter and flour mixing step is very important. Before even the butter starts to melt, we have to mix these well and prepare a doughy texture. Rub the butter and the flour gently in between your palms. This step also helps to prepare the dough quickly and easily. Now slowly I'm going to add ice water. The ice water is very important because it is going to maintain the temperature of the butter and it will not melt. So keep mixing by adding the ice water gradually into it with the help of a teaspoon. As you see that I am adding ice water slowly and mixing it. To prepare this, I have used around 16 to 20 teaspoons of ice water. The butter is in small chunks, but it is mixed with the flour. This is now starting to come together. Do not knead it, just make sure the dough that is coming together, just collect it, and in the rest of the dry flour, add some more water and collect. The point is that do not knead the dough, just mix the flour and the butter together nicely and collect the dough. Please go through the instructions below given in the description link. As you see that I am very gently doing this step. In order to get the right amount of flakiness and crispiness in our pie crust, these steps are important. Slightly press over the dough before you wrap it up. Use a food wrapper or a Ziploc bag and then refrigerate. Keep this refrigerated minimum 30 minutes before use. I refrigerated this overnight and then used. Grease the baking pan with some clarified butter, that is ghee. Place a parchment paper on the top. Apply some clarified butter on top of the parchment paper and to the sides as well. Chill this whole pan by keeping it in the refrigerator for 10 to 15 minutes or until used. Take out the dough from the refrigerator, sprinkle some dry flour on the flat surface, unwrap and roll out the dough. Roll out gently using a rolling pin. As you roll this, you will see cracks forming on the edges, and that is completely normal. Use dry flour in between. Sprinkle dry flour on top of the dough and roll it out. Make sure to roll it out according to the pan size that you are going to use for baking this. As you see that I have rolled it out really big because the pan size that I am using is 9 inches and is in round shape. I rolled it out for a thin crust. As you see, it is really thin. I'm going to simply fold it. Remove the excess flour from the dough or simply use it. Fold it from the center. Very carefully fold it from the center and transfer it on the baking plate. Gently press around the dish so that it sets inside and to the corners. Trim out the edges. I am using a fork to design my pie crust, but if you want, you can just fold it to the corners or you may design it the way you want. Make pores all over the base and to the sides as well. Our thin pie crust is all set. It is ready to go into the refrigerator. Simply wrap it up using a food wrapper all around. Refrigerate minimum for 30 minutes or overnight. For this recipe, I have refrigerated this overnight and then used. I took this out from the refrigerator the other day. Now I'm going to use this. Fill your pie with anything that you like. Just make sure not to use anything that has too much liquid in it. Since this is a thin pie crust, you have to make sure the consistency of the filling has to be thick. I am going to bake this at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 25 to 30 minutes or until I see it slightly turned golden brown in color. This is what it looks like after baking. The pie crust turns flaky and crisp. Now you know that this is how simple to make. You can make this at any time.